Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's Monday morning, the Reds in action against Swansea tonight, but here's some hot transfer news. Well, you be the judge of that. A few things that I want to discuss. It does look like things have gone very, very quiet on the Liverpool transfer scene. I've done a video on my thoughts on it over on Mates TV. If you've watched that, thank you. If you've not, go and check that out after this video, of course. I will be getting to some of your comments if you're watching this live on Facebook and on Twitter. Good on you. If you like those platforms, that's great, but I'll be reacting to the comments on YouTube, so flick over to there as well if you want to get involved. But, yes, first off, let's just give a little shout out to Mitchell Balzan, who was, in fact, first. And he was one of those people who says he's first, but he's actually third. So congrats, Mitchell Balzan. What a man, what a hero for our age. We're going to start then with the, I guess it's news, World Football Index, which I believe comes from the Anfield Index stable of podcasts, are basically reporting that Liverpool are set to sign Columbian left-back Anderson Arroyo. We can have a little bit of a flick through that. It's actually been, this is the stem of it. It's been reported in a number of places, but it does come back to this, and it says, as revealed exclusively by World Football Index Columbia correspondent Simon Edwards last week, Liverpool have agreed terms to sign 18-year-old Colombian under-20 international fullback Anderson Arroyo. What's interesting about it is that he's unlikely to get a work permit, so I think he's on low. Oh, he's on trial, I think, at Mallorca at the moment. They're a second division Spanish team. That shocked me because I remember the days when they weren't. But yeah, because he's not likely to get a work permit for Liverpool, it looks like when they sign him, they'll send him on loan to Mallorca. That's the report that's coming from World Football Index. Anyway, and just a little bit of a fact file on this. If you want to check out a little bit more about the player, do go over to worldfootballindex.com and find out a bit more. And so I've seen it said that he's a right-footed left-back, but apparently he's very, very fast. And to be honest, I mean, who's asked, really? No one, but apart from maybe him and his family. You know, good on him. We've seen this kind of thing already, haven't we? With, oh my God, his name's gone already. What's the name of the lad we've got on loan in Germany? Alan Rodriguez de Souza. Thanks, Tom. Thank you. Screwed with this on my own. Yeah, Alan Rodriguez, and look, he's really struggled to get a work permit. Klopp loves him as a player, but it's going to be for nothing if he doesn't qualify to get a work permit. So I wouldn't, even if this was like he was the best left back, young left back the world had ever seen, until we see it's likely that he's going to get a work permit, I wouldn't get too excited. Now, the hope would be, and I'll level with you, I haven't paid attention to the Colombian international team in about 20 years. So I don't know how likely he is to get in there. You might be watching and you might know who Colombia's first and second choice left backs are. Maybe they're really big world names and that would make it difficult. But I think there's a difference between getting into Brazil's midfield and getting in at fullback for Colombia. I don't know. Let me know in the comments and we'll come to some of them a little bit later on in the show. So yeah, that's apparently a thing. It isn't 100% confirmed anywhere, but I think Liverpool have a few of these kind of deals where they're not necessarily things that you sing and shout about. You don't make it your feature page on the Liverpool FC website, but as and when we see any confirmation, we'll be the first to talk about it, probably on Twitter, because Ross is amazing at this. We move on then. Gareth Bale. Oh, Gareth Bale. He's involved in two ends of stories today, and we're going to start with the one that Real Madrid star Gareth Bale wants Liverpool to take Jurgen Klopp as a manager should Zinedine Zidane get sacked. Fuck you, Gareth Bale. Fuck you in your stupid face. Yeah, look, there's really nothing in that whatsoever. Don Ballon, our favourites. They've provided so much entertainment in this January transfer window, and that entertainment doesn't stop here. It's going to continue in the next 2 pages that I've got queued up. There's nothing to that whatsoever. I don't see a quote, and if you know these are basically getting this from Don Ballon, so I don't know why they wouldn't take a quote if there was a quote. But we nip over to Don Ballon now. The surprise team of the Premier that enters the bid to take Gareth Bale. The team is willing to put a millionaire on the table of Florentino Perez to take the Welsh striker. A team of the Premier League decided to enter by surprise. Well, listen, you can get in big trouble doing that. Don't let porn think that, like you think that that's acceptable. Entering by surprise is rarely Rarely, it's rarely treated well. Anyway, in a bid to take Gareth Bale from Real Madrid, both the entity chaired by Florentino Perez and the Welsh striker have already come to the conclusion that his time as a Madridista is coming to an end. Now, that's a really good translation. English club is emerging as most likely destination. Go ahead. As the player seems to be inclined to go, all of the players seems to be inclined to go to Manchester United of Jose Mourinho. Now there's another who will throw without hesitation a checkbook to get his signing. I mean, if we just throw the checkbook, it's probably not going to get business on it. It might cause some sort of superficial facial injuries, but it's probably not going to get a deal over the line in and of itself. Jürgen Klopp put the last minute in his sights. Philippe Coutinho, yeah. The talk about 100 million euros being the bid if we were to do just that, and obviously with the likes of Alexis Sanchez joining Man United, it might make it slightly more difficult, but there you go. We move on. I wouldn't worry about that. Toni Kroos, speaking to Don Ballon, the top coach who has asked Toni Kroos to continue at Real Madrid. The future of Toni Kroos is not as determined as they want us to see. The German midfielder's offers to leave Real Madrid, and it seems he will not hesitate to accept any of them if there are no changes in the whole white. The former Bayern Munich wants Zinedine Zidane on the bench of Real Madrid. However, if he does not want any technician come to Real Madrid and would have asked for a specific role. Kroos wants to work for Klopp, from which his teammates who have had him speak wonders, and he's showing at Liverpool. Basically, you can read this in one or two ways. You can read it to say that he wants to work for Jürgen Klopp, so he might consider a transfer if things don't continue to pan out at Real Madrid. The alternative is go back to the Gareth Bale thing, is that it could just be pointing out that he would like Jürgen Klopp to be Real Madrid manager because he's been told by people who work with him at Borussia Dortmund that he's very good at developing players. Yeah. Wonderful. Thomas Lemar, it just gets better and better. It's on thisisanfield.com. It's probably come from elsewhere. In fact, it's come from the Mirror, but you know what? Nice to give a shout out to thisisanfield.com. Top people say Lemar eyeing Barcelona move. Thomas Lemar has seen Liverpool's primary transfer target, but apparently he's declared Barcelona his #1 destination. But that's chief football writer Steve Bates, who, an interesting note, is now Mr. Bates, but when he was a child, he would have been Master Bates. And that's the kind of thing that keeps us ticking over here during the January transfer window at the Redmen TV. Let's get to some of your comments. David Sanger saying, what's up, guys? I've got a funny answer to that. What's coming up is some fantastic content coming up on the redmentv.com. We've got the Reds Transfer Roundup show. We'll be recording on Wednesday this week, I believe. Steve Hoare hosting as usual, talking through all the ins and outs. Steve is a man who's connected, so if you want to know what's going on with Liverpool with regards to transfers and just news in general, fantastic show. You get it free for a month as part of the Redmen TV supporters section. So if you go over to the website, sign up, start your free month, you get that and a whole host of extra things as well. We are supposed to be, fingers crossed, barring any unforeseen weather circumstances, spending some time with Liverpool ladies midfielder Caroline Weir as well. Promises to be very, very exciting. So we've got some great content lined up. Go and check it out this week. Tom, have you got some stuff for us?
Yes.
No.
So Shane Jones says Bale would be injured after one training sesh with Klopp.
Yeah, that's the thing about Gareth Bale, is that his injury problems have hampered him massively since he's joined there. Still a fantastic player, still a fantastic talent. Now here's the thing: there's a chance that, you know, if you signed Gareth Bale, and it's not realistic, but if it were to happen, that we could get him, we could put a new level of base fitness in him and maybe build him back up again. The problem is that when you've played professional football for that long, you know, what did he break out at Southampton at like 16? He's played a lot of professional football, particularly someone with such pace who's been so reliant on his pace. When you start to get to your late 20s, if you're having injury problems around that time, you either have to adapt your game or, you know, face the fact that you're going to have loads and loads of injury problems. We've kind of seen this with Daniel Sturridge to some extent as well. It's a possibility. Look, I don't think anyone will be upset at Gareth Bale joining Liverpool. I just don't see it as being very, very likely, unfortunately.
Saint Janet 99 talking about Arroyo. I can't remember how you say it.
Arroyo, yeah.
Jesus, such a why bother signing? We have two decent left backs.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's 18 years old. And you should never ever rest on your laurels. I mean, here's the thing. Don't forget that people were writing Alberto Moreno off what, 6 months ago was being terrible, and we'd signed Andy Robertson, who was terrible. There's a possibility that this kid could just go on and be one of the great players to dominate the left side of defence in world football. He could be, he could not be, but the point is, what's the expression? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Liverpool have got to start banking on the future, and if they can get him up to speed and bring him in, and he's got, I think as well, like pace, and if he's young enough to be moulded. So I'm reading the Raf Honigstein book. I don't know if we've got a copy in here. No, because I've clearly taken it home. And there's a lot of Klopp's younger life, and then going through a coach of Mainz and stuff, and about how he just basically enjoys working with younger players more because they're more easily moulded. You can teach them how to be. You're not having to teach an old dog new tricks, which is obviously a lot harder thing to do. You can mould these players in the image that you want, and that's the thing. I think he's gotten good returns out of Andy Robertson, but here's the thing: look what he's getting out of a lad who played for Hull. Imagine what he could get if he got like a speed demon, Columbian, future international with all of his best days ahead of him and got a chance to train him from that age. Imagine how good that could be. Think about that. Yeah, thanks. Next. Oh, I've got one here. Jack Adams says, Paul, Griezmann rumours. Sorry, I'm just going to reattach my mic. There was some whisperings about Anton Griezmann a couple of weeks ago. At this point, I think the fact that we've heard nothing concrete about it either means Liverpool are absolutely the best now at transfers that the world has ever seen, or nothing's happening. I would err more towards the not happening. What's interesting, actually, people who watched Jurgen Klopp's press conference, he was asked about the possibility of players coming in, and he basically said something jumps up in your face, maybe. Again, surprise entries. What he says is that there's no new players. They're not actively looking or scouting for anyone that they don't know already. I thought it was a really interesting phrasing from him. And what he's basically saying is there's a list of targets. I would surmise that those are being worked upon. They're going to see what they can get out of those, but don't expect someone to come in at random. So I don't know. Take from that what you will. The fact that the Griezmann stuff was mentioned a few weeks ago suggests that he was on the radar. So maybe he would fall within the possibility of if they're able to make it happen, they'll make it happen. But at the minute, I wouldn't chuck any money on it, and I wouldn't lose any sleep over it either. But it would be amazing. Just one transfer note, because a lot of people kicked off about this last week. Just to clarify, I am now clearly signing for Star Wars FC. Fucking weirdos. I had a Real Madrid jumper on last week. It really rankled a bunch of, I can only presume 13-year-olds who don't understand that you can wear things of other football clubs, provided it's not Everton or Man United. And there's a few then exceptions. Like I wouldn't wear anything by Spurs, but that's because Spurs are just the most nothing club. I have no great depth of feeling one way or the other towards them. And to be honest, apart from that very brief spell, apart from the spell where they had Umbro as their manufacturer in the 90s, they haven't had any nice kits either. Anyway. Someone saying Chan News, Werner Moolman, in fact. From what I can see, nothing really on that. It's still not agreed terms with anyone. I would still expect him to sign a pre-contract agreement with someone else, Juventus being the most likely to that. At some point, I would expect him to move at the end of the season. But, look, Jordan Henderson is just coming back to fitness now. Emre Can's performed very, very well in his absence. If Jurgen decides to stick with Emre Can between now and the end of the season and give him some game time and he continues to develop as a player, then he might think, you know what, great, I'll give this another season or I'll give it another couple of seasons. And I think that would be, at the minute, the best case scenario for Liverpool, really, because what he's great at is performing in big games when the chips are down, when the atmosphere is up and you need to be physical and you need to be a play on the edge. What he's not great at is the games where Liverpool need to make perfect decisions to dominate games when, against parked buses or what have you, his decision-making in that regard is not great. When he's cold and he just has to knock the ball around and move it on, he needs to be in a fight. But those things are, it's hard. I think it's harder to teach someone to be good in the big games than the other way around. So, but he's still got a massive future, and I wouldn't like to say it'd be a good decision for Liverpool to let him go, Let's have a couple more comments, Tom, and then we'll wrap up. Got one from Darwin Singh actually saying, give Salah a knighthood. Nah, no one wants a knighthood. Knighthoods are shit. Knighthoods are for Tories and Wolves. Anyway.
Nice. Mr. ASG, would you bring Origi back if we loan Sturridge? Can't put our faith in Ings.
No, because I don't think he's been very good either. I don't think he fits. I don't think Divock Origi fits with what we do as much as same as Daniel Sturridge. I think it's a gamble with Solanke and Ings, but a calculated one, because at least you know that they possess the level of endeavour that you need at the bare minimum to fit in with the team. Whether they've got the goals to add to that, I really don't know. I think Danny Ings might have. I think Danny Ings has got the ability to contribute between now and the end of the season. And the hope, and it is the thing, it's hope, not expectation. Between Woodburn, Ings and Solanke, we've probably just about got enough. I would vastly prefer, and again, I've done a video on this over on my YouTube channel. Do go and check that out. I've just gone past 28,000 subscribers, which is amazing. I'd love to get to 30 by the end of January. So if you're watching this and you've not checked it out yet, please do. We'll put an annotation at the end of this video if you're not watching this live. But I'm convinced Liverpool need another attacking player. So just a comment here from Nathan Day. I've got a Benfica top, Paul. Can I wear that? Yeah, listen, wear what you want. As long as you don't wear Man United or Everton, you're pretty much fine. But the point is, yeah, or Chelsea, sorry, you're right. And to be fair, Arsenal as well. It's a bit, I think you wouldn't really wear any of your main rivals in the Premier League, because that is very weird. But even past that, I don't think it's that big a deal. But as long as you're not a fan of them, as long as you don't dilute your love of Liverpool, because I don't get, and apologies if you like this, I don't have any more love in my life I can't love another sports team the way that I love Liverpool, because it's so all-encompassing. So I don't get people who are Real Madrid fans and Liverpool fans, and they've got it split bios and stuff like that on the Twitter. I don't get it. I think that's a bit weird. Fair fucks if you've got that much love in your life. I've got 2 kids as well. That makes it hard to spread the love around. And also the time, I'm very fatigued, and it's very difficult to love anything, to be honest. But now, just my thoughts anyway. One more, Tom.
Hero of the People says, Klopp said he was happy with our back four, and then a week later signed Van Dijk. Just because he isn't telling us about possible transfers doesn't mean that nothing is going on behind the scenes. Absolutely, completely agree with that. I think that's absolutely spot on. But what my thoughts are more on the lines of, if you are sat there building up your expectation, because here's the thing, we in the absence of information, we fill in the blanks with shit that we've got on our own heads. And I fall foul of this all the time, especially on like Christmases and birthdays. Someone tells you you've got a surprise coming, that surprise is never going to be as good as you can build it up in your head. So I would strongly advise kind of switching off to it. You know, if you want to be downbeat and depressed about it, fine, I guess. There's loads of positives to be taken from Liverpool at the moment. I would focus more on them. If it's causing, look, if you like being miserable, be miserable, is the point. But yeah, if Liverpool pull something out, be chuffed that they've pulled something out. If they don't, trust that we've got a really good policy going on in the transfer market, particularly under Jurgen Klopp. We've been buying some players, you know, that we've gotten great value for players as well. If they feel that they can get value, then I think they've earned that trust, if I'm perfectly honest. So, you know, maybe let's use Thomas Lemar as an example of it. If they think that if they think the market will settle down again, like the Neymar stuff put a massive spike in things because PSG paid his buyout clause, which led to Barcelona having £200 million to spend, so that meant Dembele's value went up and Coutinho's value went up. If they feel that this is a random spike in the market, so it will settle back down again, then it makes sense if you think Thomas Lemar's only worth 40 rather than spending 90. And that means you can buy 2 players. You could buy 2 40 or 45 million pound players would make a massive difference to Liverpool as a force going forward, as opposed to spending 90 on a prospect. Just my opinion anyway. Some people will disagree, others will agree wholeheartedly. Like-minded people like me, you know I love you the most. Brilliant. Yeah, one last comment actually. Kieran Walker saying, what do you think of signing Lanzini, Paul? We're reaching the point in the transfer window now where I think we're a man short in attack. I think if you said we sell Coutinho and buy Lanzini, I'd be very, very disappointed. If we signed a Lanzini or a Mahrez, someone with Premier League experience who can cause problems, I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't be delirious with it. I don't think anyone would be running out to get Lanzini on the back of the shirt, and I would be really annoyed if we gave him the number 10 shirt. But I think Liverpool could do with having someone who can have an impact, and if it happens to be Lanzini and they think he's good enough, they know more about football than I do, ultimately. But yeah, it would be
Weird. Someone's saying they've got an Arsenal scarf. That's weird. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the Redmen TV YouTube channel, do it. Do it right now. If you want more content talking about transfers and Liverpool in general, check out Mates TV, which is my personal YouTube channel. Other than that, thank you very much. We'll be at Swansea City tonight. If you go in the match, let us know. Tweet us at the Redmen TV and we'll meet up and have a little bit of a sing-song. Looking forward to it. Twat of a drive ahead. Can't wait. I'll see you all soon. Ta-ra.